Okay, so today we're working on composing and decomposing fractions. Composing, y'all say that, and decomposing. All right, composing fractions. I want y'all to look at what composing means. Can y'all read what it says right here? Connecting the pieces. Let's read these fractions. 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 equals 3/4, because 1 piece plus 1 piece plus 1 piece makes 3 out of 4. Now, before we move on to new stuff, can y'all tell me what do you call the top number of a fraction? A numerator. How do we remember which place the numerator's in? Yeah, you nod your numerators. Let's write it. N-U-M-E-R-A-T-O-R. Nodding your numerator. And then we get down and shake our denominator. And what are we shaking? Your butt, your bottom. That's right. Your bottom number is your denominator. And I'd probably get up and go check. And if you've been drilling this in the kids last week, which if you watch the videos, you should be, denominators stand for divided into, as in my whole shape. And look, they kind of have left it out, but let's make it. The whole shape, which would be a square, right, has denominator. It has 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. Denominator is your best friend. Divided into 4. Numerator, that N sound, says, hey, know what you're looking for. Well, we're looking at the shaded, and there are 1, 2, 3. 3/4. Remember, when you are in fourths, 4, F-O-U-R, T-H-S, that T-H-S lets us know we're in parts. We're in 4 parts. So I want y'all to look at what composing is. Say composing again. A fourth plus a fourth plus a fourth composes into 3/4. What could you say that this is? I mean, they say connecting. Piece plus piece plus piece. Lots of pieces, right? Let's do 2 synonyms. Synonyms mean, yes, the same thing. So see, here we are bringing language in. If you compose, what are you doing? Adding? I mean, kinda. I would almost say, all right, so adding. How about this? So adding what? Are you going from parts to whole or whole to parts? Oh, okay, so composing is like part plus part plus part makes whole. So are we building up or building down? We're building up. If I were building Legos, let's write constructing. Construct. C-O-N, construct, S-T-R-U-C-T. Sorry, Owen wants gummies, so I'm trying to open them. Say hi, Owen.
Hi.
Here's your other gummy. Construct. If you construct something, what does that mean? Build. Very good. So like if you construct a building, if you construct a Lego tower, you build. These are good synonyms. All right, so before we look at the other part, if construct means build, prefix D. If you decompose, compose means construct. Composing means building. If you decompose, if you deconstruct, if you destruct or you don't build, deconstruct, decompose means, the prefix D means not. Like if you destroy something, destroying means not building. So this prefix on decompose, D means not composing. And I want 2 synonyms for this, meaning 2 words that mean the same as not composing. To compose means to build. To compose means to construct up. So if you are decomposing, if you are not constructing up, look at the picture. Deconstructing You're taking the whole model and breaking it into what? Pieces. So this would be like whole. And the whole is broken into part plus part plus part. So it's still kind of like add, only this one builds up and this one tears it into pieces. So how about we put destroy? Or we could write tear down. Anything that makes sense that they give you will work. And really, I mean, kids who can't tell me the difference between compose or decompose, when they're asked the questions, they understand the concept. So that's the good thing. So when you're composing, we're composing like, and I tell them this, composing music. Taylor Swift is a composer. She writes songs. She composes a song note by note by note until it builds a song. In 4th grade, we have compositions. Compositions are built word by word by word to build sentence by sentence by sentence, which build paragraph by paragraph by paragraph into an entire composition. Composing is the building up of parts. Decomposing means not building up. It's the backwards option. All right, so fractions contain a numerator, top digit who says know what you're looking for, and that's because the N sound N. And no, even though it's got a K, we don't say kno, we say no. So that N sound, numerator says know what you're looking for. And the denominator, D-E-N-O-M-I-N-A-T-O-R, denominator, the bottom digit says divided into, as in my whole set is divided into, just like we talked about a second ago. And I know y'all, I write faster, so y'all finish writing neatly, and then I'm going to come around and make sure y'all have my notes. If you're just sitting up there writing notes and you're never watching them, they don't feel like there's any accountability, and some of them are going to not take them. So they need to know that they're not only supposed to be listening and answering, but they're accountable for writing too. And then I would go back down and go, okay, let's highlight this middle word. What is this middle word? Unit fraction. All right, what do we know fractions have? Well, look right here. Fractions contain numerators, the fraction bar, and denominators. So a unit fraction is definitely a fraction with a numerator and a denominator, right? Do y'all remember from last week what a unit fraction is? A unit fraction. Yeah, a unit is 1 unit at a time. So let's go over here to an example. If you're taught these right here, these are unit fractions because they are 1 unit, 1 piece at a time. So 1/4 is an example of a unit fraction. Can you give me another example of a unit fraction? Yeah, right there, 1/6, good. Can y'all give me another one? 1/8, good. 1/2, okay, so remember if you're divided into 2, hi-ya, you're divided into half. So 1/2 is what you mean. Let's write that 1/2 because this is what kids mess up on a lot is the halves. Although if you tell them about the chopping them in half or chopping an apple in half, they do get that. These are examples. Non-examples would be not examples. These are unit fractions. What are not unit fractions? Can you tell me not a unit fraction? Okay. 2/4. I agree. That's not a unit fraction. 3/10. Good. 5/6. Basically is long, and they like to, and what I noticed about the 3rd grade class I taught the other day, they like to say 2/4, 3/4, 1/4. Okay, get off fourths. Give me something else. 6. Then they were saying 6. Get them into different denominators. These are not unit fractions because units are 1 unit at a time. An illustration. Well, let's draw a circle. What do y'all want to divide it into? Half, hi-ya. half. You're divided into D. Denominator says, hey, I'm divided into 2. And if you are a unit, you're one unit. You're one piece. So to illustrate, to draw it, we would highlight one of the 2. It could be 1/4 that they told you to draw, 1/6, 1/8, whatever. Describe in your own words. So what do y'all want to say about a unit fraction? Let's make it a sentence too. So what are we talking about? Unit fraction. So let's start with a capital. Unit fractions. What about them? How do you know you have a unit fraction? They have a 1, right? Where? On top. I want something better than on top. What is the top number? A numerator. Good. So unit fractions have, H-A-V-E, have numerators. N-U-M-E-R-A-T-O-R-S. I'm going to spell that again. N-U-M-E-R-A-T-O-R-S. Unit fractions have numerators of, we do not write the number, we write the word, we're in a sentence. Unit fractions have numerators of 1. Period. That's much better than a unit fraction has a 1 on top. On top of what? Its head. On top of, it's the numerator. All right, so that's just getting them to practice units. All right, so boys, actually whole class, let's read this. Shade in the model below using each set of unit fractions. Then determine the fraction of the shaded part of the model. All right, I hear a lot of directions, so let's, and by the way, Miss Gillespie's class did a great job of summarizing. I might have had to guide them a little bit at the beginning, but they were doing good. What are we doing? One word. Shading. Shading what? Model. Why? Or shading the model using what? Unit fractions. That's these. Unit fractions have numerators of 1. One piece at a time, right? Then there's a transition word, and then what do we have to do? We have to find the fraction of shaded parts. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to shade. So first of all, what do we call this bottom digit? And see, this is where teachers don't, this is where I think my strength is, and I think any math teacher's strength. It does not ask me to ask the kids this, but I know, read it, write it, say it. Keep pushing it, keep making it make sense. What is a bottom digit called? In a fraction. Yeah, get down with your denominator, right? These are denominators. What do I know a denominator tells me? Divided into. Yeah, look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My whole shape is D divided into 6th. That helps me know that numerator, know what you're looking for. I'm talking about 1 out of 6. So let's color 1 of the 6. And you can do it with your pencil. Plus another 1/6. Plus, y'all say it. Yes, 1/6. Plus 1/6. Is that it? All right, we're looking for the shaded part of fraction. What do we know fractions have? Numerators and denominators. So when you're having to answer a fraction, it better have a numerator and a denominator. If this picture model is in 6th up here, it's still in 6th in the answers. It doesn't automatically split into 12. N, numerator, that N sound, know what you're looking for. I'm looking for shaded. How many are shaded? How many units? 4. So what is this fraction, everyone? 4/6. Not 4/6, because 4/6 is 10. We're talking about 4/6, as in 4 parts out of 6. 4/6, 4 parts out of 6. All right, that's y'all's first page. All right, we're going to keep doing this. So y'all read me the fractions, the units that we have. Read them out loud. 1/4, good, plus 1/4 plus 1/4. By the way, we are composing. We're composing music part by part by part. So we're going to color 1 of 4, 1/4. Check. We're going to compose another 4th. We're going to add in another unit. Check. Another, how do you say it? 1/4, good. What is shaded? Is the whole object shaded? No. If it's a part, that's why it's a fraction. It is a part of the whole thing. What fraction would y'all say this is? 3/4 is right. 3 out of 4. 3/4. All right, I want y'all, all right, this next one says write the shaded part as a sum of units. Well, go figure, you can't see it, so let's shade in 3 of these. All right, they want me to write shaded as sum of units. What is a sum? This is the answer to addition. If they don't know that, it's because you have not plugged that in as you add different things throughout the year. Anytime I add or subtract, I like to plug in, this is a sum, this is a difference. So if you haven't been doing that, I mean, that's where vocabulary comes in. It's your teaching plugging it in. Because no one's going to tell you, like, hey, when you answer this, what do you call this? This is you having to plug it back. Answer to addition. And unit fractions, what do we know unit fractions have? And if I don't know, let me see. Unit fractions have numerators of 1. So what's one of these? This is 1 out of how many? 4. So we have 1/4 shaded. Plus, yep, another 4th. Plus another 4th. Which equals a sum and answer of 3/4. 3 out of 4. All right, let's go to this one. Again, we're writing what? Shaded what? As sum of units. How many units are shaded? 2. 1 unit at a time. This one is 1 out of how many? 2. So 1, 2, is that right? What do we call it when you're chopped into 2 pieces? You're chopped in half. So 1/2 plus 1/2 equals, well, what's 1 plus 1? 2, yeah, 2 are shaded out of how many? 2. 2 are shaded out of 2. 2 out of 2. When your numerator and denominator are the same, if you have 2 out of 2 shaded, you have the whole thing. 2 over 2, 1 whole. If it were 4/4, 4 out of 4 means you ate the whole thing. If you have 6 pieces, you eat all 6, you ate the whole thing. If you have 3 parts and all 3 are shaded, you have shaded the whole. All right, let's see this one. Let's fill in these last parts I can see. What do y'all think we need to count first? How many are shaded? I don't know. I mean, units are 1 unit by 1 unit by 1, so I already know my numerator's 1. What's the bottom digit called? Denominator, right? Get down with your denominator, and what does he say? Divided into. Yeah, how many pieces is the whole shape divided into? 8. All right, so a unit, this would be 1 out of 8. So this is 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8, which will equal a sum, because right here the sum is the answer to addition. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 5 out of 8. Notice that denominator is not changing because it's the same model. It's in 8s here, it's in 8s at the end. The answer to addition is a sum. I want you to write it. And we add add-ins. The numbers you add are add-ins. Say it. You add add-ins. The answer is a sum. These are things plug in all the time. All right? I'm going to read Susan, and as I come across a number, I want y'all to fill it in. So Susan's eating the same pizza over the course of 3 different days. She ate an 8th on Monday, an 8th on Tuesday, another 8th on Wednesday. What fraction shows blah, 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 blah. All right, what are we looking for? A fraction. Which fraction? That shows what? Amount of pizza what? 8 when? 3 days. All right, well, if I want a fraction, what do I know that means? A part, okay, a part of the pizza. What else do I know? Yep, numerator and denominators are on fractions. Do I know anything from these units up here? Because that's a unit fraction with a numerator of 1. Do I know anything? Oh, so 3/8. Some kid might say, well, that's 3/8 because 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 is 3/8, and they know that from up here. Okay, so 3/8, right? What if I said this? What if I wanted y'all to draw me the pizza? Because it's the same pizza, but she eats it a little bit at a time. What if I asked y'all to draw the pizza? How many parts would it have? 8. How do y'all know that? And if they do know that, hooray for you. Yay, D, denominator says, hey, I'm D divided into 8. And if my denominators are 8s up here, guess what my answer is divided into? 8s. These are divided into 8s. And she ate 1, 1, and 1, which makes 3. That easy if they understand that D denominators don't change in the same problem. If they're in the same set in 3rd grade, we don't change denominator. 4th grade too. If you're in 8s in the question, you're in 8s in the answer. And she ate 1/8, 1/8, and 1/8, which is 3/8. Down here, that's, all right, and then this is just review. So this is more on the floor. You got to go next door. Because if you have 7, you sure can't pull 9 out. So you take away a rod. Remember, a rod, like a rod holds 10. You take one away and you're bringing it over here. This rod gets split into 10 of the little units, right? And I do draw this off and on. So you have 10 units from the rod that you borrowed, right? But we're not borrowing because we're not giving it back. So you took away and regrouped it from a rod into 10 singles plus 7, which is why we put a 1 in front and build 17, because 10 plus 7 is 17. Minus 9, I don't subtract. I have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 8. And 8 minus nothing is still 8. The answer to subtraction is a difference. It's the difference in size of the first number and the second number. A difference. All right, if you have 2 dots, can you pull 7 out? No, because when there's more on the floor, you go next door. So I have 6 rods. But I'm going to pull 1 away, which leaves 5. And this 1 is going to get regrouped into how many units? 10. Right, you're regrouping. You're not borrowing and giving back. You're taking a rod and regrouping into 10. How many did you already have? 2. Well, 10 plus 2 makes 12 minus 7. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Count up. Don't count backwards. 5 minus 1. Well, 5 minus 1, 4. So our difference is 45. All right, if you have, is 9 more than 6? Yes. If you have 9, and you take out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what are we left with? 3. That's because 6, 7, 8, 9. You have 8. You take out 2, or I could think 2. 2's in my hand. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm missing 6. That's because 6 plus 2 is 8. 7 minus 1 is 6. What do we call the answer? A difference. Let's write it again. The more we write it, the more we say it. We won't have it today and forget it. That's called memorization, by the way. When we're always shocked my kids forget stuff. If you haven't read it, write it, say it 50 times, they only have it in short-term memory, and then they do forget. You get it into that long-term memory, and it's there every year. Difference. All right, and then this last one. Girls, read us about, and by the way, when they give you names that you can't say, just call them Chaka or CL. CL traveled 3 months. She traveled that many in May, June, July. All right, boys, read the question. All right, there are 4 words that are screaming at me what to do. Do y'all know what 4 words I want? Not how many more miles, but I will say how many more than. How many more are here than here? Dun, dun, dun. Versus how many more are in June than July? This than is like the 50-yard line on a football field. And on this side is one team, and on this side is the other. And they are not putting their points together. They want to know what's different about here than here. A difference. And a difference is the answer to subtraction. So how many miles did she travel in June? 455. How many in July? 154. This is trash to confuse me. So we could use this 455 versus 154. What is the difference? 5 is more than 4. 5 minus 4 leaves 1. If you have 5 and you take out all 5, yeah, we're left with nothing. And 4 minus 1 is 3. So the difference is 301 miles different. You could say 455 is 301 miles more. Or 154 is 301 miles less than 455. And I do talk like that in my math class, that math vocabulary.